Dogecoin, the official coin of Amazon.
Oh my God. Well, if Bezos wants to stay out of jail, he will not make Dogecoin the official coin of Amazon.
Dude, why would he go to jail? He ain't
Oh,
going
man,
to jail.
because what'll happen is Dogecoin will explode if he did it, then it'll crash, and then people will sue him for pumping crypto.
He can't do that. Listen, if anybody was going to get sued for doing that, it would have been Elon Musk. Happy weekend, traders and investors. Please kick the crap out of that like button for us because we are motivated to providing you the best market content. Best.
Right.
The best. The best. Okay, Spence. So, to kick this off, we're going to first talk about the macro picture in the market, and then we're going to sort of top it off with a little bit of crypto, and then have a nice side dish of stock news. So let's go, Spence. Kick it off for us.
So let's pop up a chart of the S&P futures.
Alrighty.
And what we're going to be looking at here, I have my my momentum structural analysis chart here. We have another video about that. You can always check it out in our feed. But what we're looking at is just the relentless trend of upward in the market. And you can see here just a few kind of highlights as we look at where we're at right now. You can see that we've popped back up to a general level that we have that we reached back when we came out of this correction up here. And what we saw was basically a bit of volatility coming back. We saw like VIX was down below or down around like 15, high 15s, low 16s. And then all of a sudden we started to see some volatility come back this week. And now we're at a point where the market could be pausing. It could be looking at a correction. And so we have some news that may or may not affect that going forward.
Interesting. Awesome. And I see it's kind of, it looks like we have an ascending triangle there on the momentum graph, which could indicate consolidation to a critical juncture in technical analysis. Is that correct? Am I analyzing that correctly?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we see that it just hit a little bit of a peak there. And if it can sustain this level, actually I can throw on a handy, so we can actually look at here these basically channel lines here. And what these represent are previous swings in the structural momentum. And so you can see that it's really tight range, and even a pretty decent correction to some of the previous swings would only get us down to about 39.55, and that's not really a guarantee. And so it's really tough to say what's going to happen here. But like I said, there's some news floating around that may or may not affect the market going forward.
Talking about Biden and his crazy tax hike.
Something else, man. So yeah,
I saw the market candles like that huge red spike this week as soon as the announcement came out. I mean, the market was doing nice, trending to those highs, and then all of a sudden, wham!
Well, if you
wham!
If you look at it,
it's
not even that crazy. It's not even that big of a move. You can see today, like just these last 4 days, there's just more volatility, but we haven't really broken to higher highs and we haven't broken to lower lows. And so what you're looking at is what I think happened. So Biden, in a nutshell, he's going to be raising the capital gains tax. He's going to be doubling it. It's something like 42%. Now, you don't know necessarily, that's supposedly going to be a graduated amount there. So the wealthier will probably be paying a high amount.
Totally depends on your tax bracket. So our viewers who are lower tax bracket, they won't typically have to worry about that as much.
For sure. So it's unclear yet exactly how that's going to how that's going to work. But for the wealthy in, say, New York, that's going to put them in paying about 52% of their income in taxes. That is a deal killer, man. People are going to be leaving New York City or New York State I think pretty readily. Like when you have over 50% of your income being taxed like that, that's just crazy to me. But you'll notice, even though he made this announcement, the day kind of jittered quite a bit. Today we had this big up candle, and it
Yeah,
almost
today
seems
was
like, hey,
huge.
everything's fine. Well, what happened this Friday, in case you guys don't know, generally every month, every third Thursday of every month, a third Thursday, Friday, is options expiration. And that is when the monthly options expire on the indexes, which is how so many different organizations generally hedge against the market. It's been a lot of speculation. It's been an area for speculation recently as well. And so generally what happens is during option expiration is that the price of the market gets pinned in a very tight range, but you throw in that Biden tax plan news, which is decidedly negative for the market. You have a basically a reaction on that opex day that doesn't necessarily mean anything. In my opinion, we're really not going to find out what the implication of that tax plan and how it's going to affect the market until next week.
So basically, this whole options expiration period this month, or I should say this week for this month or quarter, is it a quarterly or is it just a monthly?
No, not today. No, it's just a monthly.
Just a monthly. So it's sort of masking this whole effect of the plan. So we could even see further lows back down to where it spiked to earlier this week, and even maybe lower. But like you showed on your chart, I mean, even a small correction like that wouldn't be a massive drop. So very interesting stuff.
It's way too soon to tell whether or not we're going to be in dire straits here. So
yeah, what do you think of crypto market then? So crypto's also had some crazy swings this week. We've had Bitcoin and Ethereum hitting ridiculous highs, and then they were dropping. It dropped over the weekend a little bit and has been continued dropping throughout the week. And we've had Coinbase, which I think is a very interesting stock because it's one of the only stocks that is 100% pinned to crypto markets. And in fact, 97% of all of their revenue comes from the trades that occur on the Coinbase platform, which not only does that add to volatility, but it also in a way masks as well whether or not that's transaction volatility that's causing price fluctuations, or is it more the people's understanding of the movement of Bitcoin and that is actually affecting the price of Coinbase. So I don't know what your take is on all this.
If we pop up a chart of Bitcoin here, you can see essentially we've had a pretty big move down. It's significant. We had a really bad candle. You can see right here on the 21st, or sorry, the 18th, and then it just kept going. So this, and as you can see on the momentum chart, we are actually breaking. We just are peaking down a longer term low, and that generally is not a good sign. Now it could be this is a place where we're going to see a bounce, but in just very basic technical analysis terms, this just made a lower low. And so to me, it looks like we're going to be seeing some consolidation here because it's just not clear how things are going to look. Now, when we get to the Coinbase chart, we're going to see a bit of a relationship forming. So we'll maybe draw some conclusions of that around that. Then if we take a quick look at Ethereum, this chart still looks pretty good. I got to say, you can see that it got a bit volatile here. But the momentum chart still looks pretty good. We're still kind of on trend. And, Ethereum is my favorite crypto when compared to Bitcoin and all the other altcoins that are out there so far. And the rumor is, so I don't know, Jeff, if this came up on your radar, but the rumor was that Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, former head of the Fed,
right,
she said she wanted to tax Bitcoin capital gains at something crazy like 80%.
I saw that. I literally wrote it off as something totally ridiculous, that it would never happen. Let's be frank. There needs to be a lot more discussion that needs to happen on the regulatory side before they can even come to the conclusion on something how much it gets taxed. They don't even know how to categorize it. You know, what kind of asset is it? You know, they don't even know. SEC doesn't even know. SEC, a few months ago, they filed a lawsuit against crypto chain. Was that XRP? And from what I understand, like that went nowhere. You know, I don't even think they know what they're doing when it comes to the. I think they have a lot of learning that they need to do first. And on top of that, talking about crypto, I heard some really ridiculous news this week. I saw a thing that was saying that there was a petition sent to sent to Jeff Bezos, signed by 130,000 people to make Dogecoin the official coin of Amazon.
Oh my God. Well, if Bezos wants to stay out of jail, he will not make Dogecoin the official coin of Amazon.
Dude, why would he go to jail? He ain't going to jail.
Because what'll happen is Dogecoin will explode if he did it, then it'll crash, and then people will sue him for pumping crypto.
He can't do that. Listen, if anybody was going to get sued for doing that, it would have been Elon Musk. And trust me, we all know he hates the SEC. He hates the SEC. SEC's already fined him 20 million. You know, he already fined him 20 million for his shenanigans with the stock market. I mean, I think so. There was a period of time where I ain't saying crap on Twitter anymore. Just stopped his Twitter shenanigans. And then all of a sudden he came back and was like, lol, Dogecoin to the moon. And I think really what he was doing was he was checking with his legal team to see if he can say stuff like that and get away with it. And I think he can. I mean, he literally, he painted Dogecoin, or I think in one of his factory land areas, he literally had a truck go around and draw Dogecoin, like screenshot it with a drone or something like that. Dude, oh my God. Well, Jeff Bezos wouldn't get in trouble. It would be, what if he did though? What if he did? So what else we got going on this week? So we've got
we gotta take a quick look at Coinbase, because you were telling me about that relationship between Bitcoin.
Oh yeah,
and Coinbase. Now this is just, it's interesting. So so let's take a quick look. If I compare Bitcoin to Coinbase here, you can see this orange line is Bitcoin. Now here comes Coinbase right out of the gate on that first day. It crashes back down after being pumped pretty high above its initial kind of listing. And the crash led Bitcoin. It's not crash, I should say. The kind of downtrend here pretty much led the Bitcoin trend downward. Now they're correlating pretty closely together, but I think it's interesting that Coinbase came out, aimed out, Bitcoin followed. You know, I don't. There's not enough data here to name a firm relationship, but I think that's an interesting.
Definitely not enough data yet to determine that, but I definitely think it's interesting to watch for sure. We're gonna have to come back to this a couple times, maybe later on in the next couple episodes, and see where this goes and whether or not we can establish that sort of trend or that sort of correlation. Sweet. Well, I also got some things to say about earnings. So talk about earnings a little bit. We got a few big names in earnings. We got airlines kind of taking a massive dump in earnings. Obviously, they didn't really meet their numbers. I mean, it's kind of expected, right? Like COVID is just annihilating their revenue streams. But it's not only COVID, my personal opinion. And you already touched on this a little bit. I also think it's related to teleworking. I think the working landscape has changed in the United States. I think maybe not even just the United States, probably the whole world. I think people have realized that it's kind of pointless to spend all that time driving, going to your office, just to sit at a desk again and do what you can do at home. Do you really need to interact with people on a regular basis to do your job? I mean, it's a serious question that I think people are really beginning to ask. Well, don't you think? I mean, you telework too, right?
I mean, I was doing it. I've been doing it for years. I did it before it was cool. So, you know, I think it's definitely something that people are embracing. You see how much time they save. But actually, what I just thought of now is that there's been also a big shift in the whole conference ecosystem. So you used to have every convention center around the country packed, throughout the year with various conferences, shows, all that kind of stuff. They've all moved virtual. If it hadn't been for COVID, I probably would have gone in 2020 to at least 2, 3 conferences throughout the year. And we're just a small company, so we don't attend a ton of them. But if you have this whole industry now having to organize virtual conferences, that is a big chunk of the business travel that probably isn't getting replaced anytime soon.
Yeah, I think that's definitely, and where you can see the permanence in this is that people are uplifting their lives, uprooting their lives, and moving where they live. They're moving out of New York. I saw an article today. The New York real estate and rent prices have never been lower. They've never been this low because nobody's living there anymore. You already said now a tax hike is going to drive. Dude, no one's going to want to live there. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Why bother? I can just telework. I don't need the work and you see it in California too. I live in Texas, right? There's so much insanity happening down here. People are moving here in droves. They cannot build houses here quick enough for the amount of people that are moving down here. It is unreal.
And as a matter of fact, there's a data point that I just came across today, is that the housing prices right now, measured by the Schiller case metric, is that it's higher than it was in the 2008, prior to the 2008 bubble bursting, at a higher point.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little scary too when you think about it. That's actually, I don't know if that kind of scares me a little. I don't know what to think about that one just yet. I mean, we just got last episode talking about inflation, and now we're saying the housing prices are over 2008 levels. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. All right, well, brutal. Netflix also posted less than stellar earnings. They were kind of a big one this week that came out, and so just a little bit of data points on there. So revenue was actually up. So they busted their revenue target, $7.16 billion versus an expected $7.13 billion. And their earnings per share was actually $3.75 versus a $2.97 expected. So kind of surprising to see them drop as significantly as they dropped. And I think mainly that was because of this figure right here. Global paid net subscriber additions, 3.98 million versus 6.2 million expected. And I think that's crazy. I think that's where people are asking a lot of questions. Pretty big drop, right?
Yeah, in general in the software industry, that is the leading indicator to like revenue and all your other kind of important business metrics. So that's a huge drop, man. How did they give any insight
to
why that happened?
They're saying that what they're saying is that it's content. So because they had to postpone a lot of their production because of COVID, they didn't really put out as much new content as they wanted to that year. And so this later 2021, the second half of 2020, they're trying to catch up basically, and they're going to have a massive amount of new content hit the wall there. But I'm a little skeptical personally. It's hard to deny that Disney Plus and Roku and a few other streaming services that have been doing extremely well are not cutting into their business a little bit. They said they don't believe. Netflix said, let me see if I can get a quote from them. We don't believe competitive intensity materially changed in the quarter or was a material factor in the variance, as the over forecast was across all of our regions. So
it's optimistic.
I don't know how much I believe that. you know, but obviously they don't have any point to lie, but can't. But I still, you know, Disney Plus is doing really well. It's got to be, and they've got that Marvel back, you know, all the Marvel stuff in there backing them. But anyway, yeah, so interesting stuff for Netflix.
Sure.
So let's move on a little bit. Let's see, what else do I got? Oh, I've got a new stock I'm watching. So this one is called CPNG. Coupang. It's a South Korean company, and it's basically a South Korean Amazon. So we've seen these hit the market before. We've seen Mercado Libre, right? That which was a huge winner. Basically, that's like the Latin America Amazon, and that is sitting at a ridiculous price levels. That has gained hundreds of percent, thousands of percent. We also have, you know, Amazon, right? That's the US version. And then SE, ticker SE. C Limited. So C Limited is kind of like a Southeast Asia one. So CPNG is interesting to me because Korea is a very densely populated country that is a very wealthy country as well. There's a lot of big business in Korea. I lived there for about 3 years and only came back to the States, I believe. When did I come back? 2019. I came back, very recently. Yeah, I was in Korea for a while, about three to 4 years. And I will say this, having lived there and done business there, that they are very technologically advanced, and they also have a ton of big businesses like Samsung and LG. But on top of that, their infrastructure for logistics of shipping and delivery of goods and supplies is extremely e-commerce friendly. Extremely. They have networks of, you know, people on speed bikes who deliver stuff like ultra fast in a suicidal manner, breaking traffic laws that you would never even see happen in the United States because you would get shot doing it. Unbelievable stuff that happens over there with their delivery services. It's unreal. And I think that's something that people just don't understand about Korea, is that they have such a great delivery network already established. They're not going to need to develop a delivery network like Amazon has to develop. They already have it. It's already established. And so CPNG is really capitalizing on that. And they're also capitalizing on the payment systems as well, because although Amazon does have like Amazon Pay, that was kind of something they introduced later. CPNG is coming right out of the gate with their own PayPal type system to engage in online transactions. And so it's putting them sort of ahead of the game of their peers by having systems like that in place. 99% of Korea is covered by the 4G network. Everybody has access to mobiles and cell phones. It's just everybody's ordering online. I think there's a lot of potential to grow. And so I believe you have the chart up?
I do, yeah.
So as we can see, the reason why it's pretty new to the market, and the reason why I started looking at it closely was because I saw that it was starting to hit off a support level here. It started to establish that support level very recently this week, and that really piqued my interest. I saw that, and I was like, wow, so this is stabilizing at this price? I think it's a pretty good price, frankly. I actually bought some. Some this week. Yeah, they've been around for a while in the market. Like I said, to 2010. So they've already had time to establish and kind of brew on private funding.
That's cool. Now, what about their competitors? I mean, are there any other Amazon-like companies in South Korea?
Yeah, there are. There are a bunch. So when I was over there, one of the ones I used was 11th Street, and there's another one called G Market. So right now, Coupang's ranked number 3 out of all their competitors, with 11th Street kind of beating them a little bit. So 11th Street is probably the biggest threat to the company because it's run by the South Korean telecom company over there. They're kind of like a big investor in it. And I also heard that Amazon is looking to partner with them, which could be
with 11th Street.
Yeah, with 11th Street. So it could be interesting to see how that plays out.
Right.
But where 11th Street, I don't believe shines is they don't have the payment infrastructure and the advances in payment infrastructure that Coupang does. I mentioned the whole PayPal-esque type system over there. There was another company, Gmarket. So Gmarket went IPO many years ago in the United States, but eBay bought them out.
Got it.
So eBay kind of owns Gmarket. It's kind of like a subsidiary over there of theirs. So yeah, competition is rife and they're sort of with the pack, you know? And I think it's a good opportunity to get into a market that is expected to grow about 12% a year. You know, I mean, you got to remember that South Korea as a market hasn't been around that long. The Korean War wasn't that long ago. And South Korea was more or less leveled into, there weren't even trees growing because the whole country went back and forth like this in the middle of a war zone. So, I mean, people were literally starving. And now they're the 12th largest economy in the world.
They did that in like 60, 70 years?
Yes, they did.
Even? Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive. So you have a lot of accelerated wealth over there. A lot of business-minded people who grew those companies and are handing it down to the next generation of leaders. And that's sort of what's driving the capital investment over there and driving their economy. I mean, Samsung, LG, massive companies. You know, over there in Korea, Samsung even makes cars.
Really?
Yeah, make cars over there.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
No, know that.
Yeah. Hey, you know, they just don't export them. So, yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Well, I think that's about all I had to say for the market. Any moves you're making? So I made my move with Coupang. I think it's a good move. And just remember, guys, just a disclaimer, you know, we are not financial consultants, right? We're not financial advisors. We're not telling you to go buy this crap, okay? We did our due diligence. Recommend you do yours. This is an entertainment-only video, okay? Got to have the disclaimer.
Right. That's right. Oh. Yeah. So I said in one of our previous videos, I have a new baby at home. I'm not sleeping. So though I am involved in the market, I'm trying to use this. Say, well, yeah, right. I'm trying to. My strategy is to have a light touch. So given the fact that volatility in the market was so low, I went ahead and did a variation of a straddle trade on the SPY. And essentially what I'm doing is I have structured the trade such that if the market continues to just trend up the way it's been trending up, great, I will be able to reposition the put side of the straddle as the market moves up with very little cost of carry. Now, if the market does have a nice correction over in the coming weeks or months, then I can take some profit on that as volatility expands and the direction heads in the way that I would like. But you know, honestly, it's something that I have a line in the sand on my chart about a month from now, where if the market's made a big move, I'll decide then whether or not to take it on, or to take it off, or to put it on, or to reposition. I'm trying to stay sane with very little sleep.
Yeah, no, that sounds smart. You know, you don't want to invest in a poor mindset or make decisions in a poor mindset.
That's right.
Trying to do too many things at once is just an epic reason to fail at all of them. So,
agreed.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right. Well, I guess that sort of wraps up our video. Again, smash that like button. Please kick it as hard as you please.
Subscribe.
We are here to make awesome content for you. We've got a lot of videos coming. We talked about the bullpen. Please check out our bullpen strategy video. We'll put a link in the description and probably post somewhere on the screen here so you can take a look at it. And I think probably also make a straddle video too about your technical indicators. So stay tuned for some more information. Tell us in the comments below what sort of concerns you have for next week, and if you have any interesting tidbits that you would like to see covered in any of our strategy videos. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Appreciate your time.